Hello everyone. So today I am going to explain the differentiation of an integral. If f is an integrable function on the closed interval ab, then clearly it is integrable over every subinterval of the closed interval ab. So this means this is integrable over the interval a to x. Then the function capital F, it is given by the integral of small f going from a to x plus some constant c. This capital F is said to be the indefinite integral of small f. Now why this is indefinite integral? Because it depends on the value of x. It comes out in the terms of small x. When you substitute this small x a particular value, a fixed value, then this will become the definite integral, right? So once again see, we are given small f which is integrable on the closed interval ab. That means the value of this integral is finite. Then we can define the capital F as the small f integral going from a to x plus some constant c, where this capital F is said to be the indefinite integral of small f, right? Now the theorem, this says let f be an integrable function on the closed interval ab, then the capital F, which is indefinite integral of small f, it is always continuous and of bounded variation on the closed interval ab. So now see the proof. We first prove the continuity. So for this we consider any point x naught in the closed interval ab and take the difference of capital F's. So we consider f of x minus f of x naught. Now you substitute the value of f of x. This is a to x ft dt plus c. Substitute the value of f of x naught. This is a to x naught ft dt plus c. So when you take the minus signs, your cc will be cancelled out. You left with the integral going from a to x minus the integral a to x naught. Minus a to x naught can be written as x naught to a. So when you combine these two, you get the value of integral of ft going from x naught to x is this one. Okay. Now you can take mod to be inside. So this will be less than equal to the integral of mod of ft going from x naught to x. Now what is given to us? Given that our f is integrable on the closed interval ab, so this implies mod of f is also integrable. And by the previous theorems which we have done in the unit 3rd Lebesgue integral, that for some given epsilon greater than 0 there is delta greater than 0, such that for every measurable set which is subset of the closed interval ab with measure is very small, then the value of integral over the set a whose measure is very small, the value of integral of f is also very small, right? So if we choose x minus x naught to be very small, this difference is very small, the value of the integral over this interval is also very small. This will be less than epsilon. Now this is what? This is nothing but mod of f of x minus f of x naught. So we get this is less than epsilon whenever mod of x minus x naught is less than delta. So this is by the definition of continuity, that whenever this distance is less than delta, the corresponding values of function is less than epsilon, implies capital F is continuous at x naught, right? Since x naught is any arbitrary point of the interval ab, so this implies our function is continuous in the whole interval ab. Okay, so the first part is clear, that whenever our f is integrable function on the closed interval ab, the capital F, which is indefinite integral of small f, this is also continuous on the closed interval ab. Now the next part, we have to prove the capital F is of bounded variation. For this we consider a partition. Let x naught, x1, x2 till up to xn be the partition of closed interval ab. Then we consider the variation, right? Now you substitute the capital of f of xi and f of xi minus 1 in the term of integrals, and with the same argument we get this is the integral going from xi minus 1 to xi, right? Clearly it will be less than equal to, you can take more to be inside, right? Now what is given to us? Our f is integrable. Since f is integrable on the whole interval AB, so it is integrable over each subinterval. So all these summation is finite. So that means the value of total variation of the function over AB, it will be finite. Now why this is finite? Because we choose P to be any arbitrary partition of the closed interval AB. So if we vary this partition, it will be true for every partition that the value of this variation is finite. Since this variation is finite for all the partitions, so therefore for supremum also, so we get the total variation of the function over AB is finite. So whenever the total variation of the function over the interval is finite, that implies our function is of bounded variation. So this proves the second part. So once again, see what this theorem says. This says whenever our f is an integrable function on the closed interval AB, then the indefinite integral of small f is continuous and it is of bounded variation on the closed interval AB. So now the next theorem, this says that let f be an integrable function on the closed interval AB, and if the value of integral of ft over the interval a to x for all x belonging to the closed interval AB, if this value is 0, then our function is 0 almost everywhere in the closed interval AB. So we prove it by contradiction. First we assume that f is non-zero almost everywhere in the closed interval AB. And to prove this part, we first consider that let's suppose our ft is positive. It is strictly greater than 0 on a set E of positive measure. Why we consider a set E of positive measure? Because if the measure of E is 0, then integral is also 0, right? So we have to consider a set with positive measure. Let E be the set with positive measure. Corresponding to this E set, we find a closed set F which is very near to E, such that the measure of F is also positive. And now we define the interval AB as we split this interval AB into two sets. One is A and one is F, right? So A union F is nothing but the open interval AB. Okay, so we put A to be the open interval AB minus the F set. F is closed, this is open, so this can be written as this intersection F complement. So if F is closed, F complement will become open, intersection of two open is open, so we get A set is open set, right? And we have the integral of ft going from A to B is nothing but the integral of ft over A union F, because interval AB can be written as A union F. And since they are distinct disjoint, so we can this integral as integral over A plus integral over F. And since this integral is 0, why this integral is 0? Because this, given that this integral is 0 for all x belonging to closed interval AB. So if we choose x to be B, so again this is 0. So we get this is 0, which is equal to this plus this. So this implies this is equal to minus of this. But small ft is strictly greater than 0 on the closed interval f with measure of f is 0. So this implies this should be non-zero. Since this is non-zero, so this implies this should be non-zero, right? Further, A is an open set. So we can express this A as the union of countable collection of A and Bn of disjoint open intervals, such that this integral can be written as summation over this, right? So now if this is non-zero, it means from this summation for at least some n the value of integral is non-zero, right? If this is non-zero, it means either all are 0 or any one of them is 0. So let's suppose for some n this is non-zero. Further we can write this as going from A to n, we can split by taking A point. So A to an or A to bn. either this is non-zero or this is non-zero. So in each case, if this thing is non-zero, so we get contradiction because we are having the integral of ft going from a to x. This is 0 for every x belonging to the closed interval ab. So if we choose an to be x or bn to be x, we get this is non-zero, which gives you contradiction because given that this is 0 for every x, so that means our position is wrong. Ft cannot be strictly greater than 0 on a set of positive measure. Similarly, if we choose ft to be strictly less than 0 with the same argument, we again get a contradiction. So that means our position is wrong. F should be 0 almost everywhere on the closed interval AB. The next theorem gives us a relation between the small f and capital F, that whenever capital F is the indefinite integral of small f, right, and this small f is bounded and measurable, then the capital F derivative is same as that small f, right, means inverse of each other, right. So if this is an integration, then small f will be the differentiation of capital F almost everywhere in the closed interval AB. So now the proof. Now what is given to us? F is bounded, F is measurable. So whenever F is bounded and measurable on the closed interval AB, this implies this is integrable. And also by the previous theorem, capital F, which is indefinite integral of this is continuous function. Since this is integrable, so we can apply the previous theorem and we get capital F is continuous function and of bounded variation, right? So whenever the capital F is continuous and of bounded variation, so this implies this can be written as the difference of two continuous monotone functions, and which implies the function is differentiable. So that means the derivative exists almost everywhere in the closed interval AB, right? So now just see, since this is given that this ft small ft is bounded, so let it bound by the capital K. Now we define a sequence small fn as f of x plus h minus f of x upon h, where h is 1 over n. So basically what is your f1x? This is capital F x plus 1 minus fx divided by 1. F2x is f of x plus half minus f of x divided by half. F3x will be f of x plus 1 by 3 minus fx upon 1 by 3, and so on. So we define a sequence where this fnx can be written as the integral going from x to x plus h. Now why this? You substitute the value of capital F. What is your capital F of x plus h? It will be the integral going from a to x plus h ft dt plus capital Fa. Similarly, what will be the value of capital Fx? This is the integral going from a to x ft dt minus Fa. So Fa will be cancelled out. You get two integrals going from a to x plus h minus a to x, right? And this can be written as a to x plus h plus x to a. We can reverse this by taking more negative sign, so minus minus plus, so this is x to a. So when you combine these two, you get this is going from x to x plus h. So we get this integral going from x to x plus h ft dt, and given that our ft is integrable, it is finite, so this implies fnx is finite, right? So this is bounded by the same number k because our small f's are bounded. Also, when you find out the limit n going to infinity, this is nothing but the derivative of capital F. So over this sequence is going to the derivative of capital F almost everywhere, right? So if we choose C to be any arbitrary point from the closed interval AB, then by the bounded convergence theorem, the integral of f dash x is same as the limit integral of f dash x inside, right, which is nothing but this thing. So we can substitute over here. Now put the value of f and x, we get this going from A to C. Now further see, first of all we apply the transformation. We put x plus h to be some u, then dx is replaced with du, and then limits are changed. Your a is now a plus h and c is now c plus h. So this is the integration from a plus h to c plus h of fx minus the integration of a to c, integration of f of x from a to x. Further, a plus h to c plus h minus a to c can be written as a plus h to c plus c to c plus h. We split the first one by adding c, and also the second one by adding a plus h, right? So we can write a plus h to c and c to c plus h minus a to a plus h minus a plus h to c, and just see these two integrals will be cancelled out because inside we have same fx. So this will be cancelled out. So we left with the integration of fx going from c to c plus h minus the integration of fx going from a to a plus h, right? Now just see these intervals are very small because our h is going to 0, and given that f is continuous, so therefore the value of this fx over this interval going from c to c plus h, since h is very small, so this is nothing the value of function at c, right? So you can take this to be outside fc, and we integrate 1 over the interval c to c plus h. So when you integrate 1 over the interval c to c plus h, what will be the value of integral? This is h. So your h will be cancelled out. So the value of this is nothing but the value of function at c. Similarly, the value of this is nothing but the value of the function at a. This is why, because our function is continuous, and since this is very small, so the difference of f of a and f of a plus h, this is very small. So we can replace f of a plus h with f of a. We can take this to be outside because h is very small, right? So we left with the integration of 1. So when we integrate 1 over the interval a to a plus h, we get this is a plus h minus a, which is h. So our h will be cancelled out. So we left with only f of a. So what will be the value of this integral f dash x going from a to c? This is nothing but fc minus fa, right? So now we can substitute the value of fc minus fa from here. When you substitute x to be c, you get this is fc. You can take this fa to be this side. So you get fc minus fa is the integral of ft going from a to c. So now you can substitute the value of fc minus fa from here. So this is the integral of small f going from a to c. Both these integrals are going from a to c. So we can take this function to be this side. So this is equal to 0 going from a to c. Since c is any arbitrary point of the closed interval AB, so this implies this is true for every c in the interval AB. Now you apply the previous theorem. That will says when this integral is 0 almost everywhere, and this is integrable also, and we know that the small f is integrable. right? So this implies this thing is all 0 almost everywhere. This is 0 almost everywhere, implies small f is f dash x almost everywhere in the interval AB. So this thing we have to prove. So whenever ever f is bounded and measurable on the closed interval AB, implies f is integrable, means whenever your small f is integrable, you can always write indefinite integral as this, and the relation between the small f and capital F will be this one, almost everywhere in the closed interval